Hey everybody, y'all do me a favor. Like this video, share this video, subscribe if you have not, and hit that notification bell. So I want to talk to y'all about something very serious. That affects your everyday to day life, whether you know it and maybe you know it, but you really don't sit and let it rest with you the way that it probably should. Okay. I'm going to play some clips, of course, for you in this video at the end of what I have to say and let you see some things for yourself. Not too long ago, there was a roundtable done with our government officials, some doctors, and things of that nature to talk about the health issues in this country. And it all surrounded around food and the pharmaceutical industry. Okay. Now, I've said this for many, many years, and I've constantly had this conversation, but we're going to have it again because I guess the government wants to actually acknowledge and have this conversation when they've been doing this for many, many years to us. So, when we talk about food, food is something you're supposed to take into your body, right? It's supposed to give you nourishment. It is supposed to actually give you energy. Food should be healing, okay? Now, we know that people can eat junk food and eat things that are not good for them, too much starch and all of that good stuff, right? But it's a difference in that versus eating food that is purposely poisoned, okay? So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and I'm going to show you that exact conversation is having. We're going to show you a food activist who is going to break down for you in these clips the differences of the foods that we have in this country versus other countries, okay? Now, we can get into things like the deodorant that you put on your body every day has poison in it. Now, my question would be, can you create deodorant that doesn't have aluminum and cancer-causing products in it? Absolutely. So then why wouldn't you, right? Can you create a safe version of toothpaste that doesn't have fluoride in it? Why don't you look up what fluoride does to a person and what the symptoms are in an individual who has taken in fluoride, okay? Other countries don't have fluoride in their water, their toothpaste, or anything of that nature like we do, okay? But it's in your toothpaste. On the back of your toothpaste, something you brush your teeth with every single day, it has information for you to call poison control if you take too much. Seems like you probably shouldn't be putting that in your mouth every day then, right? But this has become the norm in our country. There are fillers that have been approved by the FDA. They use sand in food as a filler. You're eating sand. How many of you know that? How many of you know that margarine is one ingredient away from being plastic? How many of you know that there is paint thinner and all kind of chemicals that are in cleaning products and supplies, and versions of them are put into your food on a regular basis? It's right on the back of the box, all of those long, ridiculous names of things that you cannot pronounce. It's not food. Those things should not be edible and be there. And then somebody might make the argument, well, when food has to stay on the shelf and everything is not fresh, you don't go out and get your food every day like we did before and get food from, straight from the ground. And so they have to put some type of preservatives in order for this food to, be preserved and be on the shelf. I will tell you that's a bunch of bullshit, and you should miss me with it, because what you're going to find in the clip that I'm going to play for you is that some of the same things that we eat in this country, they are made and sold to other countries, but they are made without those ingredients because they are outlawed and forbidden in those other countries because they know perfectly well what it does to an individual. And those governments apparently are not into poisoning their own citizens, okay? So the same cereal that you eat here has a lot of chemicals inside of it. It has dyes that cause cancer. You will find some of those very same cereals are created for other countries. And guess what? In order to color that cereal, they use natural ingredients like the dye from fruits, okay? They use watermelons, they use blueberries, they use beets to color it. Not red dye 40, not dye yellow, that we know for a fact causes cancer in people, okay? And so we have these same products here, many of them that are given to us one way by our government. And then when it is sold to another country, it's made in a much healthier manner. So this is the thing that I would want to say. This is the thing I want you to ask yourself. If a healthier version can be made of these products, then why does our government constantly feed us the unhealthy version? Well, the answer is because we are under attack. And as citizens in this country, you seem to think that you're free, but you're really not free. You're actually under a very silent war, okay, with quiet weapons. And you don't realize that every day you're under attack. But if somebody is being fed chemicals that slowly cause their body to create illnesses and sicknesses and eventually death, diabetes, cancer, tumors, and all of these other things that come from what's being given to you, you wouldn't consider that an attack on the citizens by its own government? I would. If you had some sense, you probably would. Okay. So let's understand why they do that, though. Now, you do realize that the pharmaceutical industry is a billion-dollar industry, and all of the money that is made, plenty of that is put back into government. They give money to certain candidates to get what it is that they want. Now, understand, this is exactly how it goes. We'll just break it down simply. You are a taxpayer. You pay taxes. Those taxes are then taken so that they can be, funneled into certain services and resources for the people so that your government can give you an illusion of we're taking care of ours. Okay. So you can be poor and you can have Medicaid. Now, when you're poor, they want to push these products into your community more than anybody else's. You know why? Because you're going to get Medicaid. You're going to get government-funded health care that comes from the taxpayers' dollars. Now, instead of just giving this money to the pharmaceutical company, they have to find a reason to give it to the pharmaceutical company. So if they can keep you sick, then you can go to the doctor, you can get medication, which equates to a treatment, never a cure. How many of you ever gone to your doctor and they actually gave you a cure for something versus a treatment for something? See, treatment usually says, we're going to treat this. It's not going to go away. So you're going to keep needing medication. You're going to keep needing services, which keeps funneling the money to the pharmaceutical companies. How many of you go to your doctor and they give you a prescription to go to the gym? How many of you have gotten a prescription from your doctor to go and actually buy more healthier food because you can't afford it, but you can go get it through a script? How many even that is possible? Do you know that on some health cares, you can actually be given a membership to a gym as a prescription for something? Do you know that you can be given a prescription that says go and buy healthier foods? But if not healthier foods in this country, when we stop and we look at it, we will find that even those foods have been modified. You go to the store and you buy things that are supposed to be organic, but there's no seeds in them. How is this organic? Seems to be genetically modified to me. There are no seeds in these fruits and vegetables. That's not really the way that fruits and vegetables grow. That is not the nature of them. You have given us something completely different now. And if you don't have a lot of money, you can't even go eat the fake healthy food, right? You can't even eat the fake healthy food, much less stay away from the bad food. So one thing I just want to reiterate, and I'm going to get ready to play this clip, you guys, is that as Americans, I want you to understand you are not free in this country. I want you to understand that we are under attack. There is a war that has been waged on the citizens of this country, and it is not from China. It is not from other countries that they so-call our enemies. It is actually by our own government that does many things to us. And this is just one of them. And many ways for them to keep us sick so that they can use your bodies and your illnesses to get rich off of causing you to die. I think it's a very evil thing. It is a very real thing. And I think that it's time for America to open their eyes. Now, I'm going to let you guys go. I would tell you to enjoy your evening and enjoy your dinner. But I think I'm going to have a bottle of water after having this conversation. But even then, I think there's like nanoparticles or something inside the plastic. So I'm going to have a bowl of hot nothingness tonight and, be secured in the fact that I didn't eat no poison before I went to bed. Now, come tomorrow, I guess that'll be a harder decision to make because you got to eat to live. But it seems like as we eat, we're slowly dying. Oxymoronic, isn't it? Y'all have a good night. Do not forget to like this video, share this video, subscribe if you have not, and I will see you on the next video or the next live.
Our government is letting U.S. food companies get away with serving American citizens harmful ingredients that are banned or heavily regulated in other countries. Even worse, American food companies are selling the same exact products overseas without these chemicals, but choose to continue serving us the most toxic version here. It's un-American. One set of ingredients, thank you. One set of ingredients there and one set of ingredients here. Let me give you some examples. Thank you. You want to do my honor. Here we go. My Vanna White, everybody. This is McDonald's French fries. I would like to argue that probably nobody in this room has not had a McDonald's French fries, by the way. Nobody raised their hand during the staff meeting earlier today. In the US, there's 11 ingredients. In the UK, there's 3, and salt is optional. An ingredient called dimethylpolysiloxane is an ingredient preserved with formaldehyde, a neurotoxin, in the US version. This is used as a foaming agent so they don't have to replace the oil that often, making McDonald's more money here in the United States. But they don't do that across the pond. Here we go. This is Skittles. Notice the long list of ingredient differences. 10 artificial dyes in the US version and titanium dioxide. This ingredient is banned in Europe because it can cause DNA damage. Artificial dyes are made from petroleum, and products containing these dyes require a warning label in Europe that states it may cause adverse effects on activity and detention in children. And they have been linked to cancer and disruptions in the immune system. This on the screen back here is Gatorade. In the US, they use red 40 and caramel color. In Germany, they don't. They use carrot and sweet potatoes to color their Gatorade. Oh, Doritos next. There we go. Thank you. This is Doritos. The US version has 3 different artificial dyes and MSG. The UK version does not. And let's look at cereal. General Mills is definitely playing some tricks on us. They launched a new version of Trix just recently in Australia. It has no dyes. They even advertise that, when the US version still does.
And the proof is in the pudding. Our health differences, compared to those other countries who use stricter standards, are overwhelmingly conclusive when looking at millions of people over decades. On average, Europeans live around 5 years longer, have less than half our obesity rates, have significantly lower chronic disease, have markedly better mental health, and they spend as little as 1/3 on healthcare per person as we do in this country. While lobbyists and big food companies may say we cannot trust the standards of these other countries because it overregulates, it stifles innovation, and it bans new chemicals prematurely, I would like to point out that we trust many of these other countries enough to have nuclear weapons. These other countries have demonstrated it is indeed possible to not only have thriving companies, but also prioritize the health of its citizens with a clear do-no-harm approach towards anything that humans put in or on our bodies.
In my own work, I have seen firsthand how using metabolic therapies like the ketogenic diet and other dietary interventions can improve even severe mental illnesses like schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, sometimes putting them into lasting remission. These reports are published in peer-reviewed, prestigious medical journals. However, there is a larger issue at play that many have talked about. Medical education and public health recommendations are really captured by industry and politics. And at best, they often rely on weak epidemiological data, resulting in conflicting or even harmful advice.
We use over 10,000 food additives here in the United States, and in Europe, there's only 400 approved. In 2013, I discovered that Kraft was producing their famous mac and cheese in other countries without artificial dyes. They used yellow 5 and yellow 6 here. I was so outraged by this unethical practice that I decided to do something about it. I launched a petition asking Kraft to remove artificial dyes from their products here in the United States. And after 400,000 signatures and a trip to their headquarters, Kraft finally announced they would make the change. I also discovered Subway was selling sandwiches with the chemical called azodicarbonamide in their bread in other countries. This is the same chemical they use in yoga mats and shoe rubber. You know when you turn a yoga mat sideways and you see the evenly dispersed air bubbles? Well, they wanted to do the same thing in bread, so it would be the same exact product every time you went to a Subway. When the chemical is heated, studies show that it turns into a carcinogen. Not only is this ingredient banned in Europe and Australia, you get fined $450,000 if you caught using it in Singapore. If we were able to get, when this, what's really interesting is when this chemical is heated, studies show that it turns into a carcinogen. Not only is this ingredient banned, but we were able to get Subway to remove azodicarbonamide from their bread in the United States after another successful petition. And as a bonus, there was a ripple effect, and almost every bread manufacturer in America followed suit. For years, Starbucks didn't publish their ingredients for their coffee drinks. It was a mystery until I convinced a barista to show me the ingredients on the back of the bottles they were using to make menu items like their famous pumpkin spice lattes. I found out here in the United States, Starbucks was coloring their PSLs with caramel coloring level 4, an ingredient made from ammonia and linked to cancer, but using beta-carotene from carrots to color their drinks in the UK. After publishing an investigation and widespread media attention, Starbucks removed caramel coloring from all of their drinks in America and started publishing the ingredients for their entire menu. I want to make an important point here. Ordinary people who rallied for safer food, shared this information, and signed petitions were able to make these changes. We did this on our own. But isn't this something that the people in Washington, our elected politicians, should be doing?